Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which you should definitely join. Now, we're currently joined by a few people in the Google Plus Hangouts, which has been particularly temperamental today, so we may have a stressful show. We've also got Discord down due to apparent global internet outages, but I'll raise the mic on all of the lines that I do have with people in, and hopefully we'll have a bit of conversation during this pre-show while I set up for the first live show. Hello, one and all.
Good morning. You're breaking up on your audio, by the way.
I think that could be your end.
Morning.
Hello, Flatzoid. Have you got internet troubles today? I'll just take that as a yes. It could be a rough show today, 10th man.
Chips and chops. You're sounding like can.
Oh my god. Right, well, let's have a fiddle with a few settings.
It's bad.
Cool.
Hello. Check. How's that? Is that any better?
Hello.
Hey, Ranty.
Hi, Ranty.
Wow, that's loud.
Is that any better?
Yeah, much better.
It is.
Really
What's
loud.
better, yeah?
Hey, Nathan, go ahead and call me back.
Okay. We've got loads of internet issues, Ranty.
You're clear
Right.
now.
I thought I'd start recording anyway. I mean, it's one of them. You get so far into trying to figure out what's causing problems, and then you just can't. And you go, well, okay, show must go on, right?
Yeah, much better.
Wow, you're loud. Let's turn you down a little bit.
Yeah, that's
put
an
me in a
excellent
half.
connection.
Oh, look at that.
Where's Anthony?
Where in the world is
Reset.
Anthony fucking Riley?
Please send them a link.
I don't know.
Send them-
I spoke to him
just
earlier.
sent him.
I spoke to him earlier, right? And I had to explain gravitational accretion to him. I was a little disappointed having to explain the rhetoric. He was like, if it's not a force, how'd you get spheres? I'm like, you having me on?
Oh my god.
Don't you know this rhetoric? Oh, speak of the devil.
Yeah. I eat molars for breakfast. Did you see me pulling that dickhead apart? Fucking Bob the no science guy.
No.
We toe tagged him a long time ago.
Yeah, he's been toe tagged again. He still doesn't accept the independent variables, the presumed cause that you've got to manipulate to prove the cause and effect relationship. He insists on inferring an additional cause that was not manipulated in the test. He admits that gravity was a constant. I said, well, by definition, it can't be the fucking cause, then can it, you prick?
He's a moron, dude.
He is. John, you'll love it. If you check out Jose's latest hangout, me and Bob, the no science guy, just listen to the back and forth of him. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, he also thinks Cavendish is an experiment, so.
Yeah. And he
That's
won't
the
accept that
least of
gravity
his
is not
problems.
a force.
That's the least of his problems. If you check out the toe tags, you'll see why.
Nathan, are you toe tagging in these hangouts into what they're fucking called?
A playlist.
Playlist.
Yes, there's a flat Earth toe tag. It's just called FED toe tag.
And Bob's got his own place there.
Yeah,
He's got two places.
He's got two, yeah. The thing with Bob's toe tag, immediately that sticks out to me is John led him beautifully and basically asked him what are the constituent parts of an experiment, a scientific experiment. And he told us independent variable, dependent variable. That was his answer. So later on in the stream, he said the same shit, which is to say, well, who's to say that you need an independent variable? And there was a bit of rumpusing, and I was like, everyone shut up. I was like, you did, Bob. You told us.
yeah. It was priceless. Yeah.
So yeah, just trim that out. Just throw back in his face, because he claimed to know when put on the spot. Just as I say, John led him absolutely beautifully.
By the way, I just want to say something, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about now, bearing in mind we're recording, right, Nathan?
Yeah.
So, Nathan, I want you to listen, because this is relating to you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't ask any questions. Just accept that this is a private conversation. If you do know what I'm talking about, pay attention. I've got everything that I asked for. I've got everything that I asked for in my recent exchange with Leandra.
Oh, that's good.
Everything.
Excellent.
So do you remember when we had the conversation about that number, Nathan?
Yeah.
I got the number that I asked for.
That's good. Happy days.
Very, very good. So let's drop it now, because I don't want anybody inferring like references from that or whatever. So if you're listening to this on the re-up, don't bother guessing what it's about. You'll not guess.
Not particularly important either, but...
No, but it's just not. It's off topic, and I didn't want to talk about it. Off topic,
No, that's coded enough and irrelevant enough, and so
yeah, it's off topic. Well, on a better note, Bob the no science guy is an utter moron. They're all morons. They won't accept. I know why they won't accept Einstein as well. There's two reasons why they won't accept Einstein. It kills Cavendish, and it means that we can never ever prove it in scientific method, because you can't give a bit of the curvature of space-time a bit of a wiggle. So it's they don't want to lose Cavendish, and they also don't want to get into the realms of pseudoscience, because it can't be applied within scientific method. The little bit of bendy space-time. In other words, it's complete and utter horseshit.
You mean the Reverend John Michel Cavendish?
Yeah. So is there a bit of friction between Ranty and John today, or are we friends again now? I'm not sure where we're at.
We'll find out.
Who's Ranty? Who's Ranty?
There's no point in even bringing that up, really, is there? Let's just do the show.
I'll take that.
Who's Ranty?
I'll take that as there's a bit of friction.
Who's John?
That's okay, as long as I know where we're at, it's okay.
But we can discuss it on the live show when there's more audience.
Shout out to Bob Noel.
Ranty,
Yes.
when is your round table thing starting?
Friday.
Awesome.
So, should I be putting my YouTuber hat on or my flat earther hat on when having these conversations on the live show with you, Ranty?
Oh, I have no idea what you mean by that.
Well, as a YouTuber, I wish you every success. As a flat earther, I'm downright disgusted.
Listen, you don't understand the bigger picture, do you?
That sounds familiar. I don't understand.
You don't understand the bigger picture.
See,
Good morning, Mike Check.
Hello,
Hey,
hey,
Paul.
Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hello.
I do. I understand the bigger picture. You're a terrorist sympathizer. That's it.
So whether he's a terrorist sympathizer or not, I'm not up to speed with what's really happening. I know there's something happening, but I'm not really down with the lingo. So let's just drop this for the minute. We'll have to have a private hangout on this one, because I don't know where we're at.
Private?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, private. No. Nathan's got Discord down. We're getting into it.
Yeah, have you seen
Happy
Discord's
days.
down, by the way?
Yeah, let me try it again. It's not looking good. It's got that sick blue color to it.
Oh dear. Right, 1 minute and we're going live.
Woo! We need some dedicated funeral music for when these ballers get toe tags.
Nah, Discord's down still.
Over.
Anthony,
Oh, Nathan, did you check my message? I'm sorry. Did you check my message out about, the one-on-ones and stuff?
Was it today? I don't think I have, I'm afraid. Sorry.
What? It was earlier this morning. It talked about when during the one-on-ones not having.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah, the monologues are 20 gish gallops.
Claim, rebuttal.
Yeah.
Claim, support, rebuttal.
I figured you already knew that, but I thought I'd just write it. Put it in writing.
It's all good.
lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Paul, Flatzoid and Quantum Eraser. Very good to have you all.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Oi, oi.
Now the join link might be a bit of an issue on this show as we currently don't have any Discord. Hopefully that'll change. We will see. I didn't think the show would run at all as we didn't have any connection, or we had a problem with the actual Google Hangout. So I'm surprised we've got a show at all. Very pleased that we're all running and actually live. So happy days. Shout out to Colin Turner for hitting the super chat before the show even began. Thank you very much indeed. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Nil point.
None.
Nothing whatsoever.
Another big shout out to all the people on Patreon who I must do more with. I keep saying all last week
No.
do more with them and then didn't. So I will, I promise. I'll definitely shout them out more.
Mick West, reckons there's curvature.
Mick West reckons.
Mick West reckons there's curvature. He has a calculator that you can use to determine the amount of curve.
Oh,
Just not at the coast.
Even though it doesn't work over water, which is 90% of, well, 70% of what the Earth is supposedly made of.
So we give that calculator a title, don't we? They're begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, right? Let's break that down. Begging the question because it assumes its outcome. It's not proving anything. It's already got a radius value. It already knows the Earth is a sphere. It's not proving anything. It's begging the question, assuming its outcome. So that's the first part, begging the question. Proof of nothing. Well, if it's begging the question, it's fallacious. Therefore, it proves absolutely nothing. Also, models are pseudoscience, proving nothing. Not proof. So begging the question, proof of nothing. Most important detail, perspective hijacking. It works in an orthographic view, otherwise known as Muppet vision. Side on. You see the side of your own head and the target, and therefore the size of the target does not change with distance. It remains the same, as denoted by the feet and inches or meters value that you will enter into those calculations. Those values do not change with distance. In reality, things get smaller with distance. That effect, perspective, has been hijacked and simply called Earth curve. It isn't. Objects get smaller with distance. This is an effect of perspective. Earth curve is not real.
I have a question that's related to that from Ballbusters, just more of a clarifying, but also could anticipate a rebuttal in this question. And this is probably directed at John. Is the radar affected by refraction in any way in the atmosphere?
What radar?
The beam radar for the missiles.
Oh, the pencil laser targeting system on the Sea Sparrow.
What? Modern missiles have like own laser guidance and shit.
The point with the Sea Sparrow is it requires line of sight. In other words, that laser, yeah, it might very well be slightly bent, but ultimately speaking, you have to paint a target with that laser. It must be illuminated by that laser in order for the missile to hit the target. Well, if you've got Earth curve in the way, you ain't going to be having line of sight. That's the point.
Unless there's something like terrestrial refraction.
Terrestrial refraction is 7/6 of the begging the question R value. So no, not terrestrial refraction, are we?
No, but I'm just saying that it's very easy to presuppose that the laser will just go around the curve if everything is looming also.
Yes,
Can't
it's very...
hit the target on the loom.
It's very easy to beg the question. Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Nathan, can you tell the audience the difference between angular size and actual size? When you're talking about objects over distance.
Sure. Angular size will reduce over distance, actual size will not. So a 10-foot wall will be a 10-foot wall at 1 mile, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles. It's always going to be a 10-foot wall. However, its angular size will vary. Angular meaning not actual size, apparent size. So how much it appears in the picture. So in this instance, you've got these rocks in the foreground appearing to be almost as big as the mountain in the background. Couple of feet versus, I don't know, 1,000 feet? Well, obviously, while they look comparable, if you were to run a tape measure up this image, they aren't. Their actual sizes are massively different and denoted by a feet and inches or meters value, as opposed to a radian measurement or an angular size, which will decrease with distance.
There's a better way of describing it. Allow me.
Go ahead.
Apparent size is the size an object appears from a set distance, whereas actual size, as Nathan correctly points out, it's the same size no matter how far away it is. So apparent size is from a set distance, which is why angular size is a sum. It's not simply a measurement.
Any signs of what I've got up to so far? Axial rotation?
Nope.
Nope.
Not when
No,
it
no,
concerns
no.
the Earth.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not even from
Nope.
their side.
There's
But I
definitely
did
no
manage. But I
scientific-
did manage to replace it completely. We actually founded on relative density theory, and I
Yeah,
can
there's no
include all
evidence.
the aberrations with it by now. So
There's no evidence whatsoever, no scientific evidence or evidence otherwise to suggest that gravity even exists. Because even if it was the bendy space-time that superseded, replaced, debunked Newtonian principles, we're never going to be able to test the curvature of space-time by giving it a bit of a wiggle to prove that it causes anything.
There's
Well,
a
there's
claim
no
from,
curve on the Earth, and there's no curve in space-time either.
there's a claim
All
from
just math.
There's a claim from Supercurve says you calculate angular size using distance from observer and size of target. Fair enough. 2 inputs, 2 curve calculator. Now, what are you talking about there, Supercurve?
Begging the question.
Please clarify what you mean.
hey Nathan,
Yeah.
I'm presenting something I did this morning. I would like to give some proof of, how you know angular size and limited viewing angle. I
ahead.
made a little demonstration on my show.
Go ahead, you're on.
All right, so it's not with volume. Don't really need to. But I'm going to show, I had blueberries, and I'm going to show you that blueberry can practically cover up my entire head. And then, look, now it's so far away, can barely see a dot.
That'd be angular size then.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, can you make it cover your head again for me, just so I can get my head around this?
Sounds like reminds me of the Rubik's Cube you did with Wiggles.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
was just about to say that.
It
What
is.
housekeeping question are we on now?
There we go. But do you know what, Arwin? You look so much better with a nice shade of purple foundation.
We've
What's the housekeeping question?
just had gravity, scientific evidence of gravity.
Right, okay.
Oh, no, this is not related.
Sure.
I didn't drop the blueberry on the ground.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
But no apparent
There is
distance.
no evidence of a distance to a sun.
There's no confirmed.
Sorry, I just got an answer. Sorry. Supercurve says you enter the target size and distance away in the curve calculator. That's lovely. Now can you show me in the curve calculator where it shows you where something will disappear through angular size? You have good luck with that, my friend.
No way to measure the distance to the sun, but it's there. It's a light.
I didn't even ask. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? Clairvoyant.
Nope.
No apparent distance.
Any evidence of Anthony getting a quieter keyboard?
Oh, that's sorry.
Any evidence
Apology
of
accepted, Nathan.
say again?
Apology accepted.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Definitely not. I don't know how anybody can claim that there's a molten iron core when nobody knows what's beyond 8 miles.
8?
Nope.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, conspiracy cats, P waves and S waves, totally and utterly subject to interpretation, moron. Doesn't prove it's not true to say that the only shape that can possibly be is a sphere. That's based on interpretation and extrapolation, isn't it, conspiracy cats? Stop telling half-truths, because the other half of it's lies.
It's very biased.
He's an utter moron.
Have we done axial rotation yet?
We have done axial rotation. We're on to the R value next. Any evidence of the R value?
R.
Are you kidding?
No.
The only R value that we find daily is R win.
Is win a value?
It is when you compare it to lose.
At the beginning as well.
Okay.
No R value.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Yeah, just walk outside, Nathan.
That would be evidence of gas pressure, and the necessary antecedent for gas pressure would be a container. So what are you implying?
I'm saying that if you think there's a container, Nathan, I'd like to see evidence of the container, please.
The necessary antecedent.
Yeah, but where is the container, Nathan?
I don't know what the sky is.
Where is the necessary antecedent,
Where?
Nathan?
Well, I don't know that either. I don't profess to know what the sky is, but I know what the sky isn't. So the reason for asking for a demonstration of gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container is because there is a claim by the people who declare they know what the sky is, that the sky is a vacuum called outer space, and that would defy the second law of thermodynamics. The gas would fill the space.
Yeah, you're just begging the question, Nathan.
What question would that be?
You're saying that because there's gas pressure, there must be a container. You're begging the question.
No, that's a necessary antecedent, consequent antecedent relationship.
So why is it not begging the question, Nathan?
It's begging the law.
Okay, if I say
Hello.
If I say I've got a T-bone, right, and I say, well, obviously there was a cow at one stage, and you say you're begging the question, I would say nonsense. It's an antecedent.
Oh. Shout out to all those morons that use begging the question fallacy out of context.
Still waiting for demonstration though.
Got Rumpus saying pressure does not have a necessary antecedent of a container.
Nathan,
So what does it press upon?
how do you know what was it derived? How was it concluded that it is a necessary antecedent?
What's
we're
PSI?
dealing with
Pounds
natural
per square
law.
inch, right? Square inch of what?
No, but I understand the reasoning behind it, but how was that originally manifested?
How you get the measurement in the first instance.
We're dealing with natural law.
Okay, who came up with that line of reasoning? Because if that is really exactly how it was meant to be, then somebody must have used this argument system before. Have you seen historical references of that?
Why is
No,
water
Antecedent
no.
reference?
I don't need a historic reference when I can give you a
I
bazillion.
know you don't need it, but I'm very interested to see if there is
Sure.
any.
But it holds true. I will always require a container if I have gas pressure. That will always be the case. That's why the question is phrased thus. Show us gas pressure without the container. If you're to assert that you don't need a container, no problem, Rumpus. Let's see a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. Simple. I can give you a million demonstrations of it with a container. Now give us one without. Simple.
And whilst we're talking about demonstrations, I'd like to see Rumpus give us a demonstration of how gravitational pull from the moon causes tides when gravity's not a force. So however the tides are being caused, Rumpus, I'd like to see how you're going to do that when you haven't got an interaction. So let us know how we get on with that one, because I want to know how tides are explained on a ball.
Doesn't he have a barrier to breach first before he gets there?
Right. That barrier that we've just been discussing.
Yeah, there's another barrier too. He's going to have to show us how air is not the atmosphere.
Dumpus.
But it's not the atmosphere. You just can think of it as the atmosphere.
Yeah. It's not gas pressure. I got it. Where did you get it from? The atmosphere. Then it's atmospheric pressure, isn't it? Then? No, it's not atmosphere. The air's not atmosphere. Don't be silly. Yeah, it is.
Can you make your picture full screen, please, Paul? Thank you very much.
Hey, Discord's still down, man. It's calling it a general internet. Let me hit it again. Let me get it right.
I didn't want to play the sound just in case. This is just posted this morning by John D. So you're watching it as I'm watching it. So I didn't want to play the sound just in case a copyright issue might pop up. So we can watch, maybe understand by watching.
Behavior of gases when exposed to a pressure differential. Second law of thermodynamics. Cool.
I would like to address a troll for a second. Vinnie Mac in
ahead.
chat suggests that I claimed there is zero evidence for flatness. Well, no, I did not do that. I just said there's no scientific evidence for that. It's very specific. Just wanted to say that.
Flatness is not a cause and effect relationship. No phenomena of flatness. It is what it is, observably flat.
So it's talking about, sorry to interrupt, Discord, it says global unavailability.
Global? Those bastards.
They're begging the question.
Begging the question. Absolutely right, Flatzoid.
Maybe in just a roundabout way.
The atmosphere, represented by smoke from the burnt tissue. In this observation, the second law of thermodynamics isn't legible due to focus issues. Gravity.
Gravity?
It's not a force, but you can think of it as a force.
Is that what it says?
Makes sense.
Dr. John D's got a good sense of humour.
I don't see any problem with that.
We know, Arwin.
I can think of it as a force anytime I like. Not gonna claim it though.
Sorry, the Rumpus is saying I didn't respond to your comment. Yeah, you didn't respond to my request for a demonstration. Your words are meaningless. I would like a demonstration of gas pressure without something to press upon, Rumpus. Not your words, Mr. Air is not the atmosphere. Your words aren't worth much. You have no credibility anymore.
Yeah, put a presentation together and send me an email. I'll let you show it on my show.
Yeah, do a demonstration on Ranty's channel of air without the necessary antecedent of a container.
I'd like to know from Rumpus what he meant between one lion and a pride of lions.
So does Anthony. He's typing to him right now.
I'm on mute. It wasn't me. Again, I'm not guilty.
Oh, it's someone else. That's why you said about saying sorry. Who was typing? Who was that?
Arwin.
Arwin?
Oh, man. Sorry, Anthony.
It was Arwin before as well. That's why I was saying.
What's
apologise.
going on here? There's nothing happening. I can't hear anything.
Because you're typing so bloody loud.
So why is everybody silent?
Typegate.
Discord's down. That's why.
What are you talking about?
Discord's down.
Okay.
Just us at the moment.
Yay!
That's Ranty. bloody ranty flat earth.
That's definitely not me.
He's just here to sabotage. First, he gives unprecedented, unopposed platforms to globeheads. Then he types all over this show. What a scumbag.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Who? What? Talking about you, are we?
During the observation, there was a maximum of 51,000 pressure differential between the inside of the bell jar and the outside atmosphere at sea level. Smoke, brackets gas, under the influence of a 51,000 pressure differential. Gravity that is said to exist cannot prevent the diffusion of smoke/gas at a 51,000 times pressure differential. So the point that he's making is a point that John has said about 1,000 times. It doesn't matter what fundies say gravity does. It's not going to overcome entropy, even if it was real. So this is described by John when he says to Fundy Globehead, okay, I'll give you both. You can have the force of, let's get it right, Reverend John Mitchell / Cavendish gravity, and the bending of space-time. You can have them both at 100% effect. You still won't overcome entropy. So even in this example, he's giving it to the globers. He's begging the question. He's saying gravity. Obviously it's there. You're claiming it's there. Downward force. Bollocks. Well, I'll give it you. That's what he's doing with a demonstration. Does it make a blind bit of difference? No, it never did. It's never going to be part of their argument. This is why my frustration comes with, no offence, Anthony, but yourself, when you're like, well, if they haven't got a force, how are they going to keep the gas on the... No. That was never an argument. That was never an argument. Gravity couldn't do that, even if it was real.
Yep. That's
Can I just clarify that I totally understand?
Hold on. Go ahead, Anthony.
Can I just clarify that I totally understand, empathise and apologise for Nathan each time I beg the question, because I get that we shouldn't be begging the question. I just like doing it.
You're starting to contract a bad habit. Don't become like Schemo.
Some people may bring up the principle of gas density gradient within the atmosphere. Oh, aye. That's straw man. When the water degasses and starts to boil, rivers, seas, and water bodies begin to decrease in volume. Oh, too quick. No atmosphere, no liquid water. So yeah, what he's essentially saying is if the sky was a vacuum, we would be at 10 to the minus 17 torr at sea level, and all of the water would just instantly evaporate and also disperse.
Yeah, the vapor pressure, man. They'd be gone in an instant.
Yeah. So when someone says go outside, it's like, yeah, there you go. That definitively proves that we've got a container at play, something to press upon. It's not dispersing into the vacuum. We do have our carbon and nitrogen and hydrological cycles. They are in effect.
But what about Jupiter?
What about Jupiter?
Speaking of the title,
It's a gas planet, right?
Hold on, 10th man.
Gravity can actually hold it to that ball.
What's Jupiter?
It's a big gas planet.
Says who?
You can see it in the sky.
I can see a light in the sky. Right. So that's what Jupiter actually is, a light in the sky. Now, why would you assert that that light in the sky is violating the second law of thermodynamics? If it's a gas and there's a vacuum around it, then it would disperse into the vacuum. So definitely not a gas. I absolutely know for certain that Jupiter's not a gas.
But I've seen the cloud storms on Jupiter. That must be a gas, all of it. If it's so heavy and big and storming around, then it must be all gas.
Say you've seen.
Yeah.
What do you mean by you've seen?
I saw it on the telly.
I see.
Yeah, saw it on the telly.
Dedicated to me. Wow. Thank you very much, Dr. John D. I didn't expect that at the end.
Any sign of axial rotation.
We've already done that.
I thought you said we hadn't.
Oh, we had.
I must have been sleeping when you said that. Because I think I can prove it.
Big shout out to Dr. John D. Is there any chance you could post the link to that in the side chat, please, Paul, so I can spam it in the live comments thread?
I will do that. Give me just a few seconds.
Thank you very much. Yeah, big shout out to John D.
I want to bring up, since we got QE on the line, that great question he asked Rumpus and the fantastic answer Rumpus gave last week. The question was from QE, where did you get the air from? And Rumpus's answer was, it doesn't matter where I got it from.
Chocolate.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Chocolate.
Chocolate.
So, axial rotation, I have a thought process or an experiment to do with that.
My bad. I should have been led better. I'm sorry, Ranty. What about that axial rotation, eh? Any signs of that?
Yes, I think it can be proved one way or the other. You see, if you went outside and you jumped up and down, eventually you'd end up at your destination.
Yeah, based on the Coriolis effect. Yes, that's correct.
And if you don't, then there is no Coriolis.
Yeah, that's correct. There isn't.
I think I've heard a test like that before. It's like trying to jump over a fence and see if you can, if you trip over the fence, then the earth must have turned too much underneath you. Makes sense, right?
I was thinking you could go and test it, Arwin. Do you want...
Nice.
Just film it. Just go outside and film yourself jumping on the same spot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you got to film it or it didn't happen.
And then you can say you've tried to do a scientific test, you know.
Well, there are these bushes down there. So the worst that could happen is I could face down into the grass or something. No, I'm not actually going to do it. Besides, the camera would be stationary, so it would all be relative for the camera anyway.
I'd laugh if you did jump up and you went whoosh, 3 miles down the road.
Wow. No, I'm not that light on my feet. This is not the moon.
So Nathan, ask me, why did I wake up at 3:45 this morning?
Why did you wake up at 4:45? Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Yeah, why did you wake up at 4 o'clock?
Because I forgot to shut the curtains when I went to bed last night, and then the sun starts coming up and I'm wide awake. And I just flicked over to see who was on. And Sean Little G, you know, like that Sean G, I call him Sean Little G now because he doesn't understand gravity. He was just winding up his show, and Jose said that he was going to go live when Sean finished. And I thought, well, I'm awake. I don't mind joining Jose's chat. Because Bob, the No Science guy, wanted to have a conversation with me. And I was like, yeah, your time's been coming for a long time, sonny boy. So I managed to have a good back and forth with Bob, the No Science guy. And, well, basically, it's going to be my next upload. And it's glorious. Bob, the Science guy, cannot science.
Bob, the pseudoscience fallacy guy is the correct terminology.
He doesn't accept that if I cause the egg to move in my experiments by adding a little bit of density to the water, he doesn't think that that's the cause. He thinks that he can imply that there's some other cause that I didn't manipulate, and he thinks that's science. I had the great pleasure of reminding him of the definition of independent variable, and within scientific method, it's the presumed cause that I manipulate. And it requires that I manipulate it, right? It doesn't require that somebody else can then infer some other cause. It's the one that I manipulate. So it's going to be a real...
You know, you could even be the subject.
I have to say real quick, shout out to Sean Little G. for his argument of gravity is a force because of my lack of understanding of how gravity is not a force. So to me, it's a force.
Yeah. Shout out to the
That's the worst argument I've heard since shoe is a natural phenomenon.
Yeah, and 8 inches per square mile.
Well, it's basically an argument from an admission of ignorance, right?
So yeah, shout out. I mean,
an argument from an admission of ignorance.
Beyond ridiculous.
Yeah, it is an argument from the admission of ignorance. You're right.
Yeah,
it's a clown show. It's carnival out there, man. And
do you know what?
Listen, I don't know why you even went after Bob, the pseudoscience fallacy
Orbital
guy.
mechanics.
Orbital
mechanics.
He's already toe tagged.
And he shows proof gravity. He shows a rocket going up.
But just listen to it. What they're basically saying, orbital mechanics is basically a very fancy word for things are falling in a circle. Things are falling in a circle. Now think about how it actually sounds.
Do you know what I heard Farmer's Boy claim the other day? Again, in Jose's chat, when they're all sat there, all comfortable and relaxing with each other, he said, this is what he actually said, right? This is pretty much verbatim. He said, you think that the Earth curves at 8 inches per mile squared, don't you? And the guy said, yeah. And he said, it doesn't. And the guy says, yeah, it does. He says, no, it doesn't. There's undulations in the land called topography. And I was like, yeah, it's still subject to 8 inches per mile squared.
No, he didn't say that. He said square miles.
Well, whatever. I think that he meant 8 inches per mile squared. Whatever he may have said.
Yeah, but that's not what he said. And he said it multiple times.
The guy's a moron. He thinks that the topography of the land makes it look flat because it's not 8 inches per mile squared. It's like, what an absolute idiot. If that was true, right, that means it would appear to be flat when it's going uphill. And when you went back downhill, it'd be like a sheer cliff because you've got to catch up to that curve that you're getting a compensation for initially, right?
No, cliffs are flat, man.
Cliffs are flat. Curves are flat. Everything's flat on their model, isn't it? It's supposed to be a curve, but it's flat.
Everything is flat and everything is curved at the same time.
Tony, have you heard of the Dead Sea?
Pardon?
Have you heard of the Dead Sea?
Just sorry, Ranty. It's not. It's chocolate. Just get it right. It's flat, but then you have to base your pre-assumption on a curve, even though it is flat. That's how it works.
Right.
So it's flat, but that flatness references curvature. That's how they double speak here.
Right, because we live in opposite world. Yes.
Yeah. Why is there no drop? Because it's referencing a curve. The flatness, that is. That's why.
Yep.
So, Tony, have you heard of the Dead Sea?
Yes.
So apparently you can go out there and you can just float on it, yeah? In fact, it's very difficult to drown.
Salt water's more dense than fresh water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
That was it.
Well, do you know what? I've got an even better example of really good, a really good illustration of how salt water's more dense than...
Did you not want to expand on that a little bit, Ranty? That was a great example.
Well, it's a liquid, you're floating in it, and apparently if it's more salty in one location, the gravity has no effect on you. You know, you can't drown in it.
Well, you definitely can drown in it. You're just more buoyant.
It's better the fatter you are.
Yeah, the more surface area you have.
That's why. I know this is going to sound racist, and I don't mean it to, but that's why black swimmers can't swim as good as white swimmers can, because they've generally got more.
In the world?
No,
you can use it yourself as an independent variable.
I want to hear this. Let me hear it. Carry on, Anthony. Go ahead.
If you look at the Olympic swimmers, right, there's never a black guy in it because they've generally got more muscle and less fat compared to white guys that have got plenty of fat and not as much muscle. You never see a black swimmer, and that's the reason why.
What a load of bollocks.
Excuse me?
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it's true.
No, it's not.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I'm just going to say that I do not endorse any of the opinions or feelings of all of the panel members.
I'm telling you.
Okay, I'm going to Google it.
Yeah, you Google it.
I'm going to Google it. I'm not going to do a cross-reference study of all of the black communities to see if they're actually more muscle-bound. I'm going to Google it.
I think that's going to go down in history, Tony.
Holy shit. I can see rows and rows and rows of black swimmers.
I said generally. You never see.
Generally, that makes it much better.
Fallacy, correct?
Right, come on. We need some objectivity here. Chocolate. Am I generally speaking right or not?
Hold on. Chocolate speaks for the entire black community. Just to make that clear.
We just need a bit of perspective here to balance this out a little bit. Am I right, Chocolate, or not?
Go ahead, Chocolate. I'm going to rumpus all over you. Go.
What the hell are you asking me, bro?
How the hell did he know?
Are you kidding me?
Come on, I can't be the only guy that's heard of this one.
Well, I'm not an
Hey,
Olympic
wait a
swimmer.
second,
I don't
wait a
know. I can confirm that I am not an Olympic swimmer. So yeah, there you go. I'm your citation. There you go.
There are quite a few in South Africa, if that helps.
Hold on, he has just lent some credibility to his claim after a survey of 1.
Unbelievable.
I got a question
We're
for
off the
QE.
rails, man.
I got a question for QE. John.
It's not about swimmers and their ethnicity, is it?
No, not at all. I'm trying to change the subject here.
Are we talking about little swimmers?
No, we're changing the subject here.
What subcategory is posted black?
Fucking Ranty.
Hello. Hello. Thank you. So, John, that was a good show on Ballbusters. You were referencing the Sea Sparrow targeting system. A question popped in my mind as you were talking and showing the distances and how it worked. Since the globers are saying due to diffraction and all these different terms, there's looming, and an object that shouldn't be there is somehow brought over the curve of the Earth, and it appears like the Chicago skyline 53 miles away. And since there's targeting systems that have that type of range, how can a laser dial in on a hologram?
It can't.
Well, if the light looms, then why wouldn't the laser, you know?
Oh, that was the other John, or the other QE. Go ahead.
I just said my say.
There's only one QE. He goes by John.
He did answer you, though, to be fair. You can't paint a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of a boat from behind Earth curve. That's not possible.
The bit I want to know about is the hyena.
I don't think he's in chat right now.
All right, so gents, let me give you a real-world application for where gravity does not exist, but density absolutely does.
I'm relieved that it wasn't another ethnic joke.
It wasn't a joke. I'm serious. Right, come on, listen. Nathan, present my screen, sir.
Anyway, I have personally tested out that in saltwater baths, you do actually get pushed up a lot more compared to regular water.
Brilliant.
Well,
That's thank you very much for that. Okay.
What about if you put pepper in? Have you ever tried it with a pepper instead of salt?
What?
Okay, Anthony, you're on.
You're Ranty. You're all right today, bro.
I thought he said pepper.
Green.
Pepper. Anyway, this is totally off topic. Anthony's presenting. He's obviously got a good point.
Yes, so give me 2 minutes while I conclude. No interruptions, please. Right, everybody's familiar with the plimsoll line on a boat. If you're not, all it is the line that is basically governing how much load the boat can carry before it's considered to be overloaded and at risk of sinking. So basically, if you're not sure, just type in plimsoll line, then click images, and you'll see pictures of boats with lines on them, and that gives you a visual indication of whether the boat's loaded or not. That's why the bottom of that the sea truck boat that Ranty's got with the brown line on it, that's the plimsoll line that we're seeing, and we can tell that it's not a loaded boat because we can see the brown underneath. Ranty will be familiar with it. Now, what's really interesting with the plimsoll line is if you look at the scale that's used, obviously the line is denoting where the water line is. They've got different parameters depending on whereabouts you are in the world and depending on whether you're in saltwater or freshwater. So if you're in, obviously, the more you load your vehicle, the line's going to go up, and it's going to be governed based on how much you can carry, but also based on the density of the water that you're in. So basically, when the boat's loaded, it'll line up, and when the boat's empty, it'll line up. But the point is, the salt water is on the right-hand side, the fresh water is on the left-hand side. So you can see that if you're in tropical fresh waters, you can't put as much load on it because basically fresh water and warm fresh water is less dense than winter North Atlantic salt water. So you've got the salt water down one side, the fresh water down the other side, temperature included, and basically this is basically, there's no mention of gravity here whatsoever. So I'll just leave that one with you guys for a minute while I answer Fawn.
That's really interesting, man.
Well, I've been to the Dead Sea, and I've been to the Pacific Ocean, and definitely at the Dead Sea with so much salt, you just float. It's very difficult to sink over there compared to a regular ocean.
I have a response too, also.
Hold on a second, Owen. So there's a TV show, you can Google it if you actually want to see a demonstration of this. So, An Idiot Abroad is the name of the show. And the guy goes and just does that, floats in the Dead Sea, filmed in nice high definition. He gives a description of his experience. So Google search that or YouTube search that. An Idiot Abroad. And just type in
I didn't
Dead
know
Sea.
someone was filming my experience.
No, it's a show. It's actually pretty okay. I've seen it a while back.
I've seen it as well.
It's okay.
Ball tards abroad.
But I still have a response I would like to make.
Well, the guy looks like Conspiracy Cat.
He looks like you.
Looks like Conspiracy Cat.
He looks like you.
Yeah, he does kind of look like you. He does kind of look like you. It's true.
Let me just progress that last point that I was making then. The lines on the Plimsoll line, the boat, they learnt about how the densities of the waters were important when England were going through its Iron Age and the Industrial Revolution, because the English were making loads of boats made out of steel, right? And they were basing all their boats on their load capacities based on the North Atlantic density of the water. And that was great whilst we were pootling around Europe because it's generally quite cool compared to tropical regions. And basically what they were doing was they were leaving England fully loaded up to the weight line, safe when they leaves England. But by the time it gets to the Caribbean and it's getting into tropical salt water, that changes the density of the boat because the medium it's in is becoming less dense, which makes the boat more dense. And basically, it basically overloads itself and it capsizes or sinks because it's too dense for the medium it's now in. And that's all caused by the density change with the temperature of the water. And if you don't believe me, just Google the Plimsoll line history and look it up and read about it. And you'll realize that gravity is not affecting these boats. What's affecting these boats that were sinking in the early days is the density of the water that they're floating through. And if you don't realize that you can't overload it in England, because by the time you get to the Caribbean, it's going to sink, then you're going to lose your ship. So nothing to do with gravity. It's all to do with the medium that the boat's floating in. So shout outs to the Plimsoll line.
Tony, have you ever thought about doing a test with warm water and cold water?
I've just given you
an actual test with something floating in it, like a pretendy boat. No, a pretendy boat. And
no, come on, he has a lifetime subscription on eggs. I got to use it.
So, Ranty, to answer your question, we did this. I showed this a couple of weeks back. Basically, one of these videos here. Am I still screen sharing, Nathan? Nathan,
he's swimming.
So basically, Ranty, this is an example of hot water and cold water. They've got dye in it to denote which one's hot and which one's cold. And basically, what this guy, obviously, the warm one is the red one, yeah. And then as the guy pulls the lever up, he allows the warm water to pass into the blue water's chamber, and the blue water passes into the red chamber. But there is a mix.
What? The blue will sink, won't it? And the red will go over the top.
Well, watch what happens. The red one's filling up at the bottom. Well, we must have this the opposite way around. But the point is, the red one's filling up from the bottom first, and the blue one's filling up at the top first.
Yep.
I think he's got this the other way around. This might not be the temperature, but this is the point. You can do it with temperature as well as pure salt water and fresh water. Let's see what he says. Oh no, he just says what happened in this. I'd have to listen to this one to hear what he was describing. But yeah, so we're seeing that we can demonstrate lateral displacement, not just vertical displacement.
Well, can't you just sort of like get a toy boat, put it in some cold water, see where it comes up to, and then put it in some boiling water and see what happens to it?
This is pretty interesting, by the way, because if you look at the video, there's a clear, distinct difference between left and right, where the red is pushing to the left here, and it seems very separated. It's almost like a separate type of water layer, while the other one, the blue, there the red is kind of like hanging around in between. It's more mixy, and it's funny how that's different.
Well, you can see right at the part that he's pulling up, the blue is rising up and the red is staying low. It's not rising up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the red's got a lot more
And
energy.
now it's gradually settling. So the red was kind of stuck up there as well, mixing in. But as the cold front came in there, it was absolutely separate.
It's entropy right now. It's going to be entropy.
Yeah, but heat cold turbulence. It's more than entropy. It's turbulence.
The bit I don't understand
Which
is why
is entropy.
why'd go to all that effort and not set up a tripod and have the most shaky video ever.
Unbelievable. Yeah, well, Anthony, you know the man baths you take, just put, fill it up with hot water, right? And then put cold water and then turn the cold water on. We've all done this before, most of us as kids. Where's the hot water at? When you sit down in the bath, right? Hello.
Yeah, it's because we would ultimately all agree with you. You run the hot tap, you sit in the other end and go, why isn't it still exactly the same temperature? And then you go at the other end and get scolded.
That's why you gotta keep the hose like at the bottom if you want to heat it up, because then it spreads out.
Hey, guess what? Hold on a second. We got Discord up, so I don't know. It might be a little late for that.
I've got the Hangout link out, but nobody's joined. I'll stick the Discord link out. Back up and running. Happy days.
Oh, we got only one room in the panel on Google. Room for one.
Hey, Discord.
Well, somebody will bring all that fantastic glow proof. I'll gladly step off. So.
Hey, there's people in there
Just
too.
buy a television,
Hold on one second,
okay?
Owen. Sorry. Hello to everyone in Discord.
Hello.
Hello.
A chocolate. If you want glow proof, just get a telly. And even better is if you
On
get
the
one of the
telly.
hold on. Even better if you get an old-fashioned one. One of those bubbly glass tubes, because they overemphasize the glow. It makes it easier. It's all the proof you ever need.
Hey, Nathan, can you tell everyone how this is going to roll now?
Yes, indeed. So the Discord server's now a little bit more limited. So as people enter, they're going to get introduced in the same way as people do in the Hangout. So we'll find out precisely what their purpose is. If you're only in Discord to listen, you'll be immediately kicked to a different room, because the whole purpose of Discord is so that we can have people coming in and challenging members of the panel to debate. So we've got Ping... Ping, is it what? Ping Pong Grab?
Ping Pong Grab, he took off.
He's gone. And then we've got who I can't read.
Rams Corp.
Rams Corp.
Yeah, hey there, guys.
Hello. So what's your deal, Rams Corp?
I'm a flat earther actually, and I was just listening, and I don't really have anything to challenge any of you guys with.
Fair enough. For now, you're welcome to stay, because there's only you in there.
I have a question.
I've now published the link, so if you want to join via Discord, there is a link. It's available for 24 hours. It's in the info box. You will have to refresh your page in order to join. There's about 15 minutes left on the live show. Shout out to Rising Eagle for the super chat. Awesome. 300 in chat. Unfortunately, Pete is one. Shout out for the super chat, Rising Eagle. Go ahead, Arwin. My bad.
What? Me? What?
Was it you that was talking?
Was I?
I thought
no,
so.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Nathan, why don't you, could you give a
Wait,
brief
it's my turn,
synopsis of
John.
how
Why are
it's,
you overtalking me?
oh my God.
Sorry, just kidding. But it was actually my turn. But...
Oh, unbelievable. Hey, Nathan, can you give a brief synopsis on how it's going to happen from here on out?
Certainly. So, like in the beginning of Flat Earth debate, I will take more of a moderating role from here on forward. So if, for the sake of argument, the chap in Discord decided to strike up a conversation about his claimed globe proof, and Chocolate Sane, for the sake of argument, was the one to challenge him, I would be sitting back and only moderating. In other words, not taking over the debate when I see a fallacy or whatever committed. I won't be stepping in. In other words, if for the sake of argument Chocolate Sane fell victim to said fallacy, that would be his problem, and there would be a perceived win from the Globehead. So that's how it's going to go from now on. So there will be interjections. I've got to moderate if people drone on and on and on and on about their non-stop claim over and over again. So it's going to be the same, or the expected format. You make your claim, you support your claim, and then the person gives their rebuttal. You don't get to repeat the same claim 5 times as a rebuttal. You don't get to endlessly drone on about nonsense. Claim, rebuttal. Simple.
Claim,
talking
support,
about claims. Oh.
Claim, support, rebuttal.
Right.
No gish galloping. It's a single claim. You make a claim, you support it, and then rebuttal. And that goes for both sides. And no one interjects except those two and the moderator.
So Vinnie Mac in chat is saying that we supposedly prove evidence of flatness, and I say it's not possible, and then you guys are lying because he says that you claim scientific evidence for flatness. So what do you say to that?
I don't understand this hypothetical argument you're having with someone in chat. If you want to have a chat argument, you're welcome to, though. Shout out to Al Jungle for the super chat. Really appreciate your support.
But can I just say it's the globers that have the burden of proof? It's obviously flat, so if you need evidence, the burden of proof has to become from the globers.
Yeah, they're the ones with the extraordinary claim, especially when it's conceded on both sides that it's obviously and observably flat.
Right. Yeah, but they say that they've claimed falsely that you claim scientific evidence for it.
Even if it wasn't an extraordinary claim, they're the ones that tell us we live on a sphere. The minute they say that, and we say, can you prove it? They've got to prove it, not us. We've just got to ask for the proof, and they've got to provide it. And the evidence to support the assertion that they claim in the first place is really rather lacking. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. If you're going to come by and tell me that the floor is moving, you're going to have to prove that. Sorry.
They all just become professional red herring fishermen. Greasing the skids with the red herring fish grease.
Wouldn't it be really whoever makes the claim produces the evidence, even the flat earther? So if even the flat earther makes a claim, he needs to back it up. So even if it's observational, that's the proof. That's the, if he makes the claim, then he should produce the proof. Whoever makes
That's correct, Paul. You are correct.
However, there are instances where the demonstration or the proof, a photograph from Ranty Flat Earth for the sake of argument of power and finesse, it requires no explanation. So if you are to say the Earth is obviously and observably flat and then you produce that picture, that is your support of your claim.
Yes.
Well, it's empirical evidence, at least. That's something. It's better
Yeah,
than the imaginary.
It looks like we're getting overrun in Discord now, too. I could tell this was going to happen.
We've got one person.
Yeah. But give them a break because Discord was down, so I guess they have an excuse for today.
Definitely, yeah. There's a reasonable excuse. I'll reiterate. There is a link to Discord, so if you were in the show from the beginning, just refresh your page, and then you can join the Discord server. It'd be great if someone from the chat did actually attempt to join, just so we know that it all works perfectly. I've refreshed the link and generated a new one, so everything should work as it should now that Discord's back up. But we do have about, as I say, maybe 10 minutes, a bit less maybe, left on this show.
I was actually trying to get in Discord just to have it as a backup, and I can't get into it at the moment, so that might be an issue for somebody else too.
Clearly still got issues on Discord. Hey ho.
You talking to me?
No, just generally summarising, there's obviously still issues with Discord. I'm surprised this show has been as flowing or as free-flowing as it has been, given that there's been loads of issues with internet and Google Plus and Discord and all the rest of it. So I've got to be honest, I'm very pleased with the outcome of today's show.
I got a Discord message. I've seen this a couple times. There is no need to nose down in an airplane. Listen, people. I don't care about nosing down. I don't care if the plane does loop-de-loops, decreases its speed, flips its wings. I don't care. You have to descend. There is drop on the earth. If you're taking a plane flight at 500 miles an hour, whether it be 500 miles or 1,000 miles, there's a certain amount of drop. With 500 miles, there's 31.7 miles of drop. With 1,000 miles, there's 128 miles of drop. That's vertical drop. So you have to descend. How about that? My word, people.
Sorry, also, can you summarise the reality of our situation we actually find ourselves in if we were to take any flights, John? Just so it's concise with the actual reality of the situation.
Yeah, according to the space monkey spinning ball religion, you have to, you live on a sphere. It has 8 inches per mile squared of drop. That is vertical drop. If you're going from point A to point B, there is a certain amount of drop that has to be negotiated. So no matter what you do, you have to negotiate that drop. It's as simple as that. You can't fly level and be dropping. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't care how you do it, the plane has to descend. If anyone has taken a flight in their entire life, they know that this does not happen. How about that?
Yeah, that's the bell one.
You have, Nathan, right?
Me, I used to be an international rep. I used to fly all the time.
Hey, John, on that 128 mile on the descend on 1,000, is this the typical commercial airline 30,000 feet when they get up?
Yes, it's an average per minute. It has to drop has to be negotiated. I don't care how you do it. Do cartwheels. I don't care. It has to be negotiated. Period. End of story.
If there's drop, there's drop. There isn't because there isn't. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who've tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream. If you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley, I'll say that they're around live stream. If you're joining us on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you are watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, got it right this time, then a massive thank you for tuning in. Also, of course, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum at nathanoakley.com, and you should definitely all join it. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Ranty, congrats on your show, brother. Wish you luck on that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, like I say, I've been inundated with emails. Inundated, literally. I've got current count 21 people wanting to do presentations.
You've been impregnated.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's pretty good.
12 globers.
That's a lot more than you expected, right?
Hell yeah, 12 globers, 9 flat earthers, all want to do presentations on different subjects from the moon, everything from the moon landing to gravity to quantum erasers, not quantum eraser, Nathan's housekeeping questions. So that would be quite funny. So that'll be interesting. But yeah,
you got a holiday song: 12 globers, 8 flat earthers, and parties in the territory.
On the 12th Glover of Christmas. So it'd be quite
man, that's cool. That's cool, bro.
Yeah. Hey, Ranty, have you heard my idea about maybe getting eventually, if it really keeps on coming and coming, you could like make a website with it, where you just have these questions line up and like a database of different clips from different people that will have their own corner on that site to have their videos and explanation.
Yeah. And sorry to interrupt. Now we're getting loads of people jamming into Discord.
Oh.
Unbelievable. Go ahead. Unbelievable.
So going forward, you know, I mean, let's hear what these guys have got. You know, let's let them beg the, you know, well, this is what I'm going to do. Just let them beg the question so they can come in, tell us why they believe the Earth is a sphere as whatever reasons are for that, you know, and let other people decide, you know, let other people do videos about it and say, okay, well, they did this or they said that and you can't do this and you can't do that. But we need to understand where they're coming from. You know, we need their side of the argument here, you know? That's the way I feel about it.
So instead of it being whether or not they beg the question, it's let's see how well they beg the question, right?
Just allow them to
let's see how well they spin their story. I got you.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, there's obviously a reason why they believe the Earth's a sphere. So let's hear it, and let's hear it in uninterrupted, without any arguments from me. Just let them say what it is, and let other people decide on the validity of what they've come up with. You know, it'll either be total nonsense, or there'll be something there that we can look into. So either way, you know, I mean, I think it's going to be good.
Hey, Ranty, just the point. I'm not saying here or there on your show, best wishes, but they've had all these years telling us what it is, and it's been a lie. And we are coming out and saying, hey, you've been lying to us, and here's why. And then we're going to allow them to come and say the same lies, which is fine. But then we have to let them know it's a lie. So are you going to just allow them to say the lie, beg the question, or are you going to confront them?
I'm not confronting them at all, but it's the format will be that whoever comes on and does a specific subject, so let's say it's gravity, and they come in and they give a 45-minute presentation as to why they believe gravity is real and it supports a globe model, right? I will then have emails coming in from me from flat earthers saying, I want to do a counter presentation to his presentation, right? So then they will come on the show and they will do a counter presentation as to why gravity can't be real, why gravity isn't a force, etc. And then
how's that any different than what we're doing here?
Because I'm allowing them to beg the question. I'm allowing them to get it all off the chest in one go, one concise presentation, because we're not seeing that at the minute. We very rarely see a Glober do a presentation.
Well, hang on.
Yeah, they even interrupt one another.
Hang on. I'm trying to go back and forth with Ranty here. So the idea of claim, a single claim, support that claim, and then rebuttal, we allow that. But when the person comes here and does a logical fallacy or begs the question, we call it out. What's wrong with that?
Who said there was anything wrong with that? This is a completely different format. I want them to do a presentation. Yeah. I want them to do a presentation from taking us on a journey from start to finish in why they believe gravity is a real force and why it supports their model. So it's not just one little claim. It's one claim in a niche, and it's a journey that they're going to take us on. So I want a start, a finish, and an end, and I want it to last about 45 minutes. I want them to go into great detail about it so that when we get an understanding of where they're coming from, and then when the flat earther comes in and does a counter presentation, when these two guys finally get a chance to have a head-to-head with each other, we'll know all their points. You know, we'll literally know all their points.
Are you saying we don't know all of Rumpus's points by now?
I'm saying that probably, yeah. Yeah, because he gets cut off within, he opens his mouth, he gets 20 words out, and then he doesn't get to say anymore, and then it just turns into a fight fest, you know? So if I allow
wait a second. You're saying you have problems with us interrupting Rumpus?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you on shrooms?
Well, the way I see
Are we
it
talking
is
about
that,
the same Rumpus?
Yeah. The way I see it is that we're all human beings at the end of the day, and he has a belief, we have a belief. I don't feel that he's getting a chance to express his belief.
Oh my God!
And if he wants to,
I don't know if I agree with you there, Ranty.
That's fine. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. I'm expecting a bit of pushback, but for the pushback that I'm getting, which is very few and far between, I've had now over 70 different emails from individual people.
Yeah, because the liars want a podium where no one interrupts their lies. That's what.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it's not
fine.
supernatural.
Because what they will do from the words of their own mouth, they will either incriminate themselves.
They already have.
No, because we don't get to hear it. We cut them
What? We've been hearing it since
See,
2015.
I kind of understand what Ranty's trying to do. It's kind of like having a lead up to a debate. Like when somebody comes here, it's immediate debate. It's back and forth, from jump. But what Ranty's trying to do, he's kind of trying to build it up. So somebody has a presentation, they do what they got to do, and then somebody wants to rebuttal that with a different presentation. They come in, they do what they got to do, uninterrupted. Everybody has, displays their full story on blast. And then after that, if they want to have a one-on-one debate, they go at it. It's kind of like a building up to it, like kind of like an event type thing. Instead of just immediate, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I kind of understand what he's trying to do.
Chocolate, I get you, and but let me just bring to everyone's remembrance that when you talk to family, friends, and other people about any of these subjects, that's a conversation. And in that conversation, if you can just go back to maybe your last 7 or 8 with whoever, not on the show, but just on your own time, they would say something, and then you would say, do you have any proof for it? And then they would say, well, this is what I heard. You say, well, have you tested it? Or is there a scientific method applied to this? We're always interrupting them in normal conversation for proofs, because I ain't got 7 hours to listen to the full lie. So if you're going to come and beg the question, and the minute you say the earth is round or sphere, I'm going to say, where you have the proof? Can you give me one solid proof of this? So we're always interrupting in a normal conversation. What I don't like is giving a liar a full 40 minutes to lie.
Well, is he a liar, or is he just misguided?
Well, let's put it this way.
That's the point.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. If a liar lies and he's got disciples, and the disciples spread the lies, then the disciples are lying as well. So when you run into the disciple of a liar, you say, wait a minute, you've been lied to. Now, this is
okay.
time
So
for
so
them.
what if we have a Glober on that is not particularly a liar? He actually believes he lives on a spinning magical water ball.
Then what happens is the real nature of the Glober comes out, and he's open for instruction. That's not Rumpus.
All right, but so then he has a whole, I don't know, half hour or whatever of spitting his entire story, and we get it on record. So, he can go back, everybody can go back and look at it, and
but that's the point.
He has his opportunity, to show what he's got.
If you say to me,
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Let's try this out. I first of all, I don't see anything wrong with conversation or debate. I'm just saying, let's try this out.
Sure.
Okay, so let's try this out. Chocolate, 2 and 2 is 5.
No. It's not 5.
Well, no, I was told 2 and 2 is 5. I could prove it.
All right, so then prove it.
All right, then I go through my rigmarole. 2 and 2 is 5. See, I just proved it.
Yeah, but what you see, what you're forgetting is they won't.
Hang on. You're not Chocolate.
Yeah, but you're misrepresenting
No,
what's
you're
going to
not.
happen.
I'm not Oh my gosh! I can't wait to Nathan.
You're interrupting him.
I thought Nathan put some new rules that it's between 2 people.
You're only role playing though at the moment. Surely this doesn't need moderation. You're bloody role playing.
Yeah, we don't need moderation. Go ahead.
So Chocolate, I was told by the people I follow that 2 and 2 also can be 5.
Okay. Well, then I guess you're appealing to those people because 2 and 2 does not equal 5. So
Can you prove
you're
it?
gonna have to prove. You're gonna have to prove that. Give me a citation or something.
Yeah, I learned it in college, and the professor's name was Dr. Dewinkel.
Okay,
That's
present it.
that's
Hold on, Arwin. Let's just see where this goes.
okay. So that's nice for Dr. Whowinkle or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I believe, because that's what the colleges teach, that 2 and 2 can be 5.
Okay, great.
Okay, so you concede?
Do I concede to
Yeah,
your
you're not rebutting. You're not
to 2 and 2
rebutting.
plus 5? No,
Well, then
I don't
prove to
concede to
me 2
that.
and 2 is not 5.
Well, 2 and 2 is not 5. So you're gonna have to prove to me that it is.
I just gave you a citation of the colleges and the people that believe 2 and 2 is 5. So
I didn't see any
rebut it.
citation.
I didn't see any citation either.
Are you kidding?
Dr. Dewinkel, First College of Lies.
You
First
just
College of
told me
Lies.
a name. Just told me a name. I didn't see any citation.
So you see what I'm doing here?
Yes.
You got to keep my feet.
And I get what you mean, but like this, I think he's trying to give you something before it gets to this point.
Exactly. You've got it nailed down there.
Yeah.
So who's gonna rebut?
The point is, there are so many globers and so many flat earthers that are way down on where this platform is right now. This platform is so far down the end of the road that we need to scale it back a bit. And I feel that we need to let the globers come in, present their arguments as fallaciously as they are, begging the question as much as they want, right? So that whenever they do come up against a flat earther in a debate, that flat earther has the opportunity to educate them as to why they have begged the question.
So hold on a second. So are they going to get, who's going to rebut their presentation?
Nobody.
Is it going to occur the same day, or is it occur next week?
No, I'm saying nothing to them. I'm literally introducing them. They have my platform to say whatever they want. 45 minutes uninterrupted. Then we'll take some questions from the side chat. So a few comments from the side, I will ask to the guest. They can choose to answer it or not. And then I'll wrap my show up. That will be it.
I wish you luck.
That's not a debate.
It's not a debate.
If somebody does it, if nobody ends up wanting to, rebuttal it, it just stands as its own presentation.
Yes.
Well, when are they going to rebut it?
Every month, I will be releasing there'll be unanswered rebuttals. So somebody will have done a presentation on quantum mechanics, let's say, right? And then I'll say, well, nobody's rebutted that yet. And I'll leave it out there for somebody to challenge. And the hope will be that we'll get people, really educated people, to come in, or not educated people, but in that particular subject, to debate that particular subject. And that's what I want. I want to get the best of the best to come in and tell us why they believe what they believe on a certain subject.
Okay, that's pretty. I see where you're going. That's pretty cool. But let's say somebody does a presentation on quantum mechanics, and another person 2 weeks later does their presentation on quantum mechanics. Now, those are done. Now, is there going to be a scheduled debate between those two after that, or is that it?
Well, they will be asked if they want to debate each other. Some people would thrive in just doing presentations, I'm sure. Some people will shirk away from doing debates. For the guy that I'll be doing on Friday, I've already done his presentation, and he just listens in the side chat. He never makes a comment. He's not got a YouTube channel, but he's written his own book and he's done his own research. So when I offered this new platform, he was one of the first people to contact me and said he wanted to do a presentation on gyroscopes and how he believes they prove the flat Earth. But he was a bit shy about coming in on a debate forum. So for him, this was an easy way in. And I asked him, I said, when he's done the presentation, how did he feel? He says, it was great to get it off his chest. And I said, would you be up for a debate if somebody wanted to debate you, if they rebut what you said? And he said, yeah. So that's in the pipeline. So now that he's actually done his first steps and got it out of his system, it's a new person we've never spoken to before. will now have his insight as to why he believes the Earth is flat per gyroscopes, and he's willing to debate someone. So hopefully down the line we'll get these debates going.
I see, and so you'll do a little preview before those two get together. This presentation happened this time. This presentation happened this time. We have a debate, and you'll moderate the debate then.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. The debate will be moderated, but the presentations won't be. The presentations will be them to just go bleh about anything.
Oh, you're going to get a lot
I
of...
like it, man.
Blah. Get ready.
They can.
But you know what? That's cool, man. Because I think there probably are, a few people out there who don't want to just come in hot on a live debate and go back and forth with somebody. I'm sure there are people who would just rather sit back and have the leisure to do a presentation. So you've opened up like a kind of a new market, I guess.
Well, yeah, a new niche.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I feel that people.
Sorry, it doesn't sound all that bad. I kind of like that second idea.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the debate part of it. The presentations I can live without.
Oh yeah.
Is that going to be a special time, or are you going to have like special times of the month? Or you probably haven't thought of these details yet, but.
Yeah, 6 p.m. on Friday, so that'll be the first show at London time, 6 p.m. And then every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the same time, 6 p.m. So on Friday, I'm going to have a double special. So I'm going to have a flat earther on at 6 o'clock, and I've got a glober doing a presentation at 9 o'clock. So there'll be one of each. So it'll be a very fair platform for me to show that okay.
John, think of it this way. Think of the jewels that can come out of this. I mean, what if we actually get a presentation by Rumpus about how the air is not the atmosphere? I mean, a full half hour, 40 minutes of Rumpus.
And then you'll have Mr. Magoo do his
how.
Then you'll have Mr. Magoo do his presentation, and then Mr. Magoo versus Rumpus on Ranty's channel. Great.
Think of that, man. Come on. You gotta
My money's on Magoo.
You need more presentation. Air is not the atmosphere from Rumpus.
Listen, if he wants to
listen, I don't need stand-up comedy anymore, man. I got these ballers, to be honest. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
But there'll be. I'm sure on both sides. Any flat earther that comes in and does a presentation, I'm sure there'll be people like Conspiracy Cats and Simon Dan ready to try and rip him a new one. And the same with the Globers that come in. If they do a presentation, I'm sure there's going to be other people listening in that are just wanting to tear him limb from limb. So either way, it's content that's being put out there that we desperately need.
Well, again, I wish you much success.
Yeah, your little intro in the trailer looked pretty dope too, man.
Yeah, you like that? Adam Meekin did that for me.
Adam Meekin did that, really?
Yeah, man.
Wow, he's got some skills over there, brother.
I was blown away last night. He said, "Do you want me to make?" He said, "What do you want on it?" So I told him, and then got back to me about 6 hours later, and he said, "How's this?" I went, "Yes, please."
I like all the whole round table thing. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Might it be worth getting in touch with the Hoary Sheet Show, because he does a schedule, right? So he's got like a timetable, and to my knowledge, there's very few people that actually have a scheduled show. So currently, the way it stands is Arwin runs at, we'll go with London time. So Arwin runs at 1 p.m. I go at 2 p.m. And obviously this is running afterwards till slightly afterwards. But essentially all is done and dusted by 6 p.m. So there's like quite a nice little schedule for Flat Earth content coming out. And obviously Ranty's not daily, but every other day it's scheduled. So when Ranty told me about the idea, I said, look, it's really important to get a schedule absolutely tied down, even if you have to pre-record and then play them back live after the fact, which is exactly what Ranty's going to do if he can't have them there and then. and it means he gets to actually vet the presentation, make sure there's no pornography in it or whatever, and then he can pre-record that and play that out live at a set time. So it means that he can have an actual schedule, and like Arwin, who stuck to it religiously, it's very, very good to have a proper time that people get familiar with. And that particular slot I was filling with the first show, after show, if you will. So when I was doing 2 shows a day, 6 o'clock was when it went out, but I've dropped 2 shows, which has meant that time slot's now empty, which means that the schedule now goes Flat Earth Early Bird, Flat Earth Debate, what's your show called? Round Table, and then Round Table. So, there's a nice little schedule that's sort of forming around us, guys. And I like that. I think it's good that we've got regular content that people get familiar with, because it will build your audiences. It certainly worked for me. It certainly worked for Arwin, and it'll certainly work for you, Ranty, if you can stick to it religiously.
Well, I'm going to be doing 3 days a week. So it'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm hoping to do on a Friday a double show. So I want to try and get two presentations by a Glober, 2 presentations by a Flat Earther. And it doesn't have to be on the same subject. It can be on a different subject. And it could be a week or 2 weeks before we get a counter argument on the subject that whoever's done. But what this will do is, and I'm going to put them in little sections, playlists on my channel. So I'll break them up into the flat argument, the globe argument, and break it down that way. And yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Do we have anyone in Discord?
Yeah, we do. Hold on a second, 10th man. I want to devolve this discussion just for a couple minutes. You must have said, Nathan, schedule about 25 times. Now, see, I'm an American, and we say schedule, right? So what is up with this schedule? And our architecture, what the hell is that?
I don't say architecture. That's our origin.
What is up with this schedule?
Just how we say it here.
That's it? That's the rebuttal?
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want me to say? Rebuttal? Surely the English came before the American English, right?
Oh, here we go.
Appeal to ageism.
Hey, Anthony, how do you say it?
Hang on, John. He just said that we're a gradient.
Yeah, I say schedule like.
Is this a dialect or something? Anthony. All right.
He's not there. He's on mute. He's clearly got better things to do. 2 time in the show.
All right, Ranty, where you live? Or not exactly, but where at?
He doesn't count. He's northern.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm saying dialect. How do you say schedule?
Schedule.
Say it one more time. I didn't hear you.
Schedule.
There you. Yeah, this is a Birmingham thing.
Schedule. What's wrong with schedule?
It's either or. It can be both, John. Schedule or schedule. Don't matter.
No, it's that Americans like schedules just sounds weird.
All right. Sorry.
To be completely honest, because we say schedule. So
anyway, guys, going back onto my thing, I just want to tell you who's coming in on Friday. I've got a Glober coming in to tell us how the moon landings are real.
And who's that?
I'm not going to tell you.
Is that Skip Panda?
Come on,
you shouldn't allow him to. Wait a second. You shouldn't allow him to do that.
You got Buzz Aldrin?
No. Don't rumpus him. Just tell us. There's no harm. Come on.
So okay. So Gem Panda's going to come in and tell us
Panda.
why the moon landings are real, and we have a flat earther coming in to tell us why gyroscopes prove the flat Earth. So we have two opposing.
What's the name of the flat earther, or what does he go by?
Hang on. Let me just. I think he gave me. He did. Yeah. So Daniel. Daniel. Yeah. His name's Daniel.
So that's a double bill on Friday, right? 6 p.m. UK time and 9 p.m. UK time.
Yeah, hold on a second. I don't know why you're allowing him to present that when there's an outstanding matter on the table, and it is Gimp Panda, that's Gem Panda, and his natural experiments of birds humping. Now I'll tune in for that one. right? I don't know why he's going to the moon, because he made the claim of natural experiments of birds humping. We want to see that one.
And
Jam.
the thing with the rumpus is the rumpus. I'm glad that Anthony's come off mute. So there's an outstanding issue with rumpus also. So he's got an outstanding presentation that's 99% complete. So it shouldn't take him more than but a moment to complete that presentation and give that first, which is Anthony on his belly at St Bees, looking at the north end of the Isle of Man.
Yeah, and not just that though. It was also getting the reflection of it underneath, because that's supposed to be blocked by Earth curve.
He's got a lot on his plate. He's got a lot on his plate to present. I mean, we're going to obviously raise these issues with other presentations. I mean, not that we're suggesting for 1 second how you should run your show, Ranty. But I'm just saying, you know, there are outstanding presentations that, you know, it just seems like they're sidestepping some of the presentations that they said they'd give here, and now they're moving on to other things because you've given them that opportunity. But obviously, as a YouTuber, I wish you every success, you bastard.
Well, I guess
Ranty, I'll give it up to you because it's interesting how Gem Panda is one of the first to step up and have a presentation.
Yeah, I've had
interesting.
Why is that interesting, Chocolate?
Because it's Gem Panda.
No, it's because he has no
out.
one. No, because the format of the show, right or wrong, he has no opposition. That's why.
That's fine. Let him tell us all how they drove moon buggies on the moon and
give me no opposition. No, I get
it. I can't wait.
That's
the way I'm seeing it.
I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to seeing why he believes it, what evidence he can bring.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. You know? I want to hear. Without it becoming a screaming match, you know, from the word go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
In a nice way, he's got the floor to himself. The way I'm presenting it is like it's going to be, I'm just the barman at the end of the night that kicks you out. That's it. In the meantime, the stage is yours. You've got the whole show. It's literally your own gig. Get on with it. You know, you can present it. You can say whatever you like to my audience. There you go.
You know what would be interesting, right? If somebody wanted to make a rebuttal to that wasn't even a flat earther, like a glober that doesn't believe in the moon landings, that could debunk it.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to go against, you know, Gem Panda's presentation, that would be interesting.
I'm expecting that.
Not sure if that'll happen, but I know there are globers who don't believe in the freaking moon landing. So
yeah, I'm fully prepared to expect that globers wanting to challenge another glober on what they've said or the reasons why they've said it that way when they don't believe it's that way or whatever. Or even flat earthers, you know, challenging the narrative of whatever argument that's put forward. You know, it doesn't always have to be flat against globe, but eventually what will happen is these arguments will get settled at some point, and the best of the best will rise to the top, and we'll just left with their debates, so we can filter out all the rubbish.
Glober on Glober, eh? Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Why not? Why not?
Now that would be the show.
That's the first thing That's the first thing I thought, because there are plenty of globers that don't believe in the moon landing. So it would be cool to see somebody who does, two globers, one who does believe in the moon landings and one who doesn't.
Yeah, but they're not out here on the circuit. Who's gonna let them know? Right? It's gonna be Glober on Glober.
Maybe somebody will step up.
It's like Gem Panda versus like Bob, the pseudoscience fallacy guy. I'd like to see that one. What are they going to argue about? Their favorite colors?
They're both going to say they saw it on the telly.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll get a few viewers.
NASA's been telling that lie since the beginning, and any information they have on moon landings from NASA. When I first joined this show, I was quickly reminded it was a 2015 argument, and I've moved on.
Yeah.
Did you get any expansion on that when you... I remember you mentioning that once before, so this is obviously a significant moment in your life, right, 10th man? So when that was mentioned, did you get any expansion on it, or was it just, why are you coming up with this 2015 argument?
Yes. I was using those arguments with everyone I would come into contact with. And then I ran into your show. And I finally found the show that doesn't allow the begging the question. And since then, I've learned that you don't let them beg the question. And what happens is they go and check it out because you stop them cold on the lie. And it has been so much better. There are no arguments. It's real quick, clear knife cut to the argument that they're bringing. Because I say, look, I'll believe any evidence you have, but here's what you got to do. And then I killed their begging the question, and then I never hear from them, or I do hear from them. And there's no waste of time, nothing. If they're serious, they'll go research it. If they're not serious, I send them to our good friend who wants to feel their pain.
Chemotherapy.
Yeah, I'm 60 years old. I've lived twice of some of your lives. I have seen so much wasted opportunity and time in debates and arguments on so many matters that to get a clear view of debate and not allow begging the question and appropriately saying, claim, prove it, rebuttal, and you can't use a fallacy. This has been awe-inspiring. This has been something I've been doing naturally. I just didn't have titles for them. But on your show, you gave titles. And I said, oh, that's what they call it. I've been doing this for a long time, but that's what they call it. And so for me, not having any formal, training in this show has been fantastic, because if someone says, like I tried with chocolate, 2 and 2 is 5, I'm going to say, where'd you learn that? And they'll tell me. And I'll say, well, you do know that if we look it up anywhere else, it's going to be 4, and it's never going to be 5. So why do you believe that source? And that starts the whole process.
I mean, I'm pleased to hear it, 10th Man, but obviously there is other people who echo your sentiments in the comments and email me. I just never or very rarely mention it. However, there's other people who will overtly and verbally, like Ranty and others, say, well, no, I think he even said it, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago, this show's too far down the road, I think he phrased it, which is to say we're at the point where, it's possibly beyond someone like Spurs when we go, no, we're going to cut the legs off the argument. That is the end of the argument. And they're like, no, but for them it isn't, because they're still begging the question, although he doesn't phrase it in that manner. So I'm a bit frazzled at the moment, because cognitively it's like, okay, so you progress the argument to the point where you win, and you're told by literally people on your own side, that's not good enough. You've got to win within their fallacy. And you're like, why? I don't get it.
No, let me say something, because this has got to be understood from where I'm coming from. We live in a very busy world. People don't have a lot of free time. And the time they have, they're going to go where they're entertained the most or get the most. Now, if it's going to be a long, drawn-out thing, I don't know how many people are going to invest the time to follow up with different shows and this and that. What's beautiful is that the truth is the key that everyone is after. Your show is about finding the truth, so that's why you take your knife out and kill the begging the question. If another show comes on and it takes forever to get to that point, you're dealing with a society that's got to go to work, stuck in traffic, come home, there's family, kids, there's all these other matters. So I have limited my viewing time to your show, because guess what I get from your show? I get Arwen saying he was on this guy's show, so I don't have to watch that show because Arwen reports from it. Or I get a debate from Anthony, and then we watch it, like the Muse Earth one with Fight the Flat Earth. I don't watch any of those shows. I watch one show, your show.
Have you ever watched the film Gladiator?
Yes, I have.
So in his first battle, where he comes out of the arena and he's faced with 6 people to kill, he kills them in about 15 seconds.
I do not entertain.
Are you not entertained? And throw.
Spartacus.
Are you not entertained? Well, it was over very quickly. And essentially, this is the way I see these debates right now. It's like they come in, you chop the legs off them immediately. There's no entertainment, because there's no dancing around before you chop them up, And at least
we need a WWF.
I really want to hear that. Hold on. I really want to hear this from Ranty, because without even leading him, he's given me the answer I was looking for, and I was about to ask you a question to get something along those lines, Ranty, as an answer, without even asking, you've explained it. So what you're basically saying is, for some, it's not about having the winning argument, it's about watching the dance.
Yes.
And then having a coup de grace at the end, because it's all artistic.
Yes. And they also
it's like you gotta watch the middleweight fights before you get to the heavyweight fight.
I don't do that.
I don't do that either.
No, it's not.
So when I go to the cinema, I will try and calculate roughly what time the trailers end, so I can walk in with my popcorn warm in the dark and watch the film start.
Exactly.
Hey, I like trailers.
Well, there you go. Okay, well, there's some people who like the trailers and some people that don't.
Well, it's like going to.
I want to challenge Ranty's statement that when.
No. It's like watching a Rocky film, right? Imagine you go into the cinema and you're going to go and watch a Rocky film, and then, like Nathan said, do you go in and do you watch it from the start, or do you just go in for the last 10 minutes because you're going to see the fight?
No, that's a misrepresentation, totally, Ranty. I want to challenge.
No, it's not. I think that's a good analogy, actually, 10th Man. I think what he's saying is, for some, it's just the entertainment. For some like yourself, and for me, my objective is the information, the close of the argument, where it loses, where we prove we've been lied to. That's the most important thing to me. So that's what I focus on. Ranty's saying, nah. People want to see you chop a few fingers off first and watch the opponent struggle with their sword while you dance around and cause a few leg wounds, and then chop their head off after about 10 or 15 minutes, rather than chopping their head off immediately the second they say it by interrupting them. So with Rumpus, you're like, oh, he only gets 20 seconds. Yeah, it only takes him 5 to beg the question, Ranty.
Yeah.
I've been misunderstood. Let me make myself clear. I don't come to see you chop people's heads off. I listen. Can I finish?
Okay.
I think Ranty means well, but he misrepresented something that I have not observed on your show. He said that the minute they come in, you chop their heads off. That's not what I observe on your show. You give them a platform to make a claim. When they make a false claim, you're just not going to sit there and bore me to death. I said, wait a minute, Nathan, take him down. He made a false claim. But if you don't take him down, I'm turning off your show. I don't want false claims. I want it to be called out. I want the guy to say why it's not a false claim. Why do you think I called it entertainment? It's not because I want to see Nathan take the sword and whack somebody. It's because somebody came in with a lie and Nathan allowed him to claim his lie. And then Nathan said, okay, prove it. And then the guy begs the question. And then Nathan comes in with the sword of truth and does away with the lie. I ain't got all this time to listen to some guy lie for 40 minutes.
Yeah, you haven't, but you're just a minority, perhaps. You don't know that everyone feels the same as you. And this is why it's horses for courses. Your horse has found its course in the flat earth debates. Other people's horses might run better at a different track. So they might want to come and listen to the Globers beg the question before they're challenged by a flat earther who it doesn't beg the question and then chops them up in the debate.
Are you saying...
Right, maybe they want to learn to recognize it calmly.
Yes.
Like as if they were talking to them themselves.
Then what you're saying is that since 2014, 15, whenever this whole thing started, to now, there isn't enough content in the internet for any of their viewpoints to be fully heard. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You're wrong.
That's what he's saying. I know, he's completely wrong.
So you're totally wrong.
So,
that's where you're wrong.
Yeah,
but for newbies,
it's the current religion.
Newbies, I'm sorry.
I mean, you can face the truth straight. I mean, if someone tells you something out straight, you're supposed to be grown up and accept it. So I don't know why anybody would beat around the bush to try and give them the truth.
Okay.
There is.
Hold on. QE, you go next.
Now, what I was saying was that it might be good for newbies that like entertainment, but not for any of us veterans that've been here from the beginning. We know the train wreck arguments before they even say them.
No, yeah, that's exactly why this is needed, because they haven't got a platform that they can go in and they can hear the begging the questions. They haven't got a platform for that. They come in here and they're shut down immediately. And what you need is to introduce them steadily to this end of the line, you know, and essentially this is the end of the line. Globers come in here to retire, you know. You dig them a grave and told
City morgue, you kill him, we chill him.
Yeah.
No, tag them.
What it is, imagine they come to the platform that I'm going to be doing, and it's like them doing their apprenticeship. So they're doing their apprenticeship there, and then they think, hey, I want to look for another place to go and do a presentation. I've done a presentation, let me go and do a presentation at Nathan Oakley's. And then you invite them in and say, oh, can I come in and do a presentation? Nathan goes, yes, come in, do a presentation.
Ranty, when you're done, I'd like to respond.
Okay, go ahead.
What you're saying, I'll repeat. I have not observed on the Nathan Oakley show. Nathan never shuts them from making their first claim. They make their first claim. No one comes to the show and doesn't get to talk, and then Nathan takes a sword and kills them. They talk. They make a claim. Nathan says, what's the antecedent? What's the scientific method?
Hold on, 10th man. You don't have to defend my valor here. I mean, I know what you kind
of.
No,
I'm not defending you. I'm just saying what I've observed. But he's saying arbitrarily that no one gets to make that claim here before you stop the silliness. That's not true. They get to make the claim. That's why it's silliness.
Well, in the Roman legions, right, they had different, obviously, legions that some had been legionnaires for 15 years. And those guys, you know, you would have them in the center because they were the experienced guys. They're not going to lose ground. They're not going to give way, right? You can rely on this. They're the veterans, right? They can fight. And then on the outside, you have the legionnaires that are, you know, not quite as well trained, you know? And essentially, this is the same sort of thing. It's just the same. It's just a different platform.
So then why is Jim Panda coming on your show since you're looking for the newbie to come on your show?
Because I want him to come on.
But he's not that Roman legion that has no experience.
No, that's because Ranty's giving a false analogy. I'll give a different analogy, Ranty. Hopefully you'll let me and see if you agree with it, right? Firstly, I'll make a statement before the analogy, which is to say explaining their rhetoric is unnecessary when everybody's already in the religion. So letting people know even better how their religious indoctrination has been formed isn't going to help. Just my opinion as a flat earther. Just my opinion. Now my analogy. It's more like you're on the battlefield and charging one towards the other. One with much more sophisticated weapons and much better trained fighters. That'd be us, but outnumbered 100 to 1. So that's what's happening. We're charging towards them. What you're saying from the front lines while we're charging is let's stop everything so we can see them show off their sparring skills with one another for 10 or 15 minutes. Let's watch them fight so we can admire the elegance of their battle skills. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and?
Well, we're already in the battle. We're on the battlefield. We're charging towards them with sharpened knives and better weapons that beat them and chop their heads off. And you're saying, no, don't just chop their heads off. Before we have their heads chopped off, we should at least admire their talent and skill at fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Good one.
Take a flower with.
Exactly.
That's I need to chop their heads off. They're lying to us. I'd rather just chop their head off.
That's what I'm saying. You guys at the end of the line, you guys have got the toe tags ready to go, right? That's fine. That's this platform. And, you know, it's different to the original Flat Earth debates that first came out. We were still learning back then. You know, we were learning our skills back then. And I feel that, you know, I mean, I look back at some of the people...
Okay, before you eulogise, I've just got one more question. Just one more.
Eulogize.
One more question. Right.
Go ahead.
So you've explained that Newbie comes along. Now, Newbie's watched NASA video, and then he's watched a bit of National Geographic. Then he's watched a bit of, I don't know, Space 24/7. And then he comes across Ranty Flat Earth. And the first video he watches is the one that you just described from Jen Panda about the moon landings being real. And then the next video he watches is a bit more NASA. And then he goes back to work. And then the following day he watches EastEnders. So is that a win for Flat Earth?
Yes,
come to your show
in the long run it will be, because what will happen is people will get used to seeing that kind of format where a glober can come in and say what they need, but also they'll be willing then to turn in and tune in and listen to what the Flat Earthers got to say. Because I'll tell you this, I would imagine that all the Flat Earthers that come in, hardly any of them listen to what the globers have to say. And the same with the globers, they barely listen to what the Flat Earthers have got to say. They'll just come in and tap a response without even watching the video, like you're a retard or blah, 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 blah. They won't even listen or watch it, right? But in this format, they will want to engage in it because they will have already seen one side of the argument, and each opposing force will already know that there's going to be a counterclaim coming at some point and be ready to tune in for it. So regardless of what you say, it will be down to the protagonists that do this, right? They're going to be the ones that are giving a side of an argument for globe or flat earth. And regardless of what you say, people are going to hear it.
Okay. Your format for your show would have been perfect in 2015, but there's enough content. There's enough content out there that they already have the forums. They already have the recorded YouTubes. I can go to them right now and watch it.
So you assume that...
Let me finish. What I'm trying to address here is you're pulling a little bit of a Spurs chemo. You want to hug them a little bit and allow them to spew their lies 45 minutes unchallenged. When there's already enough of these lies out there recorded by the same guy on another channel.
I'm probably working, I see this out of the box that you're seeing it in. You have a box that you're seeing it in, and my box is a little bit bigger that sees a little more avenues going in different directions and how this can play out.
Why do you paint me in the box?
Well, I'm saying that you've just analogized my format as being from 2015 and basically.
No, I said it would have been. I didn't say
popular, which is fine. Which is fine. Hang on, just a minute. Which is fine, but you're not seeing the bigger picture. You
misquoted me.
I'm saying that you're not seeing the bigger picture. From what you just.
You misquoted me, and then you're painting me in the box that you said I painted you. So stop with the box stuff and don't misquote me.
No, I said my box is bigger than your box. That's what I said.
I'm glad you think in squares and boxes. That's not what I said.
Then
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who've tuned in to the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, for smashing the super chat, hopefully liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which you should definitely join. I've been Nathan Oakley. A massive thank you to all of today's debating panel, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!